Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may the Divine Being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the Divine Being support and nourish us as a mother and father. May we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om, peace, peace. Peace and beneficence be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. Well, good morning, all of you. Namaste. Thanks for coming this morning to our Sunday morning conversation, because that's what it is. It's a conversation. Now, this morning I'm going to be a little peremptory, that is to say, I'm going to pretty much read right straight through what's here. It's not that awfully long. Then we can go back through it in conversation afterwards. But it is pretty much organized so that it will be cohesive, coherent, and then if there is a need for clarification or any concern or any comment you might want to make from your own wisdom or experience, there will be an opportunity. Of course, I'll start with some announcements. Our chapel here at the center is open for your use as you wish every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Meetings with me, personal meetings with me, are made by appointment. Arrange these, please, by phone or by email. And if you don't have my cell phone number, please don't call the center's number, because that is not always attended well. So send me an email. I'll send you my cell phone number, and then we can communicate that way. So that's about appointments for conversation. This month, February, there will be no Seva Saturday this month. It's just going to be too chilly, too wintry, and probably rainy. So we'll just give that a miss this month. However, Sri Ramakrishna's birthday this year falls in February. It's actually February 21st. But for the convenience of the congregation and to be in line with the other Ramakrishna centers, we will celebrate it on the 26th. Sri Ramakrishna's birthday will be celebrated with a puja on Sunday, February 26th, from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Mother willing, Aditya Chaturvedi will be our pujari. There will be the whole time will be live streamed on Zoom. Before the puja, there will be a short talk about Sri Ramakrishna's life. No in-person attendance, but the Master's Prasad can be picked up anytime on Sunday afternoon or Monday by arrangement. If you want to do that, just call or email me, and no problems. So any other announcement that I might have made or didn't think to make? All right. February is a month for the study of Bhakti Yoga. A Bhakti yogi, a bhakta, establishes a devotional relationship with God through study, prayer, ritual, and worship. This often begins with a feeling of reverence or awe, which may slowly grow into a conviction that everything without exception manifests God's power and grace. That reverence or awe, of course, is the dawn of that feeling that there is such power, glory, and grace beyond our ordinary awareness. As a bhakta, you practice giving every action, thought, emotion, perception, and tendency a Godward turn. All your energies and attributes, both positive and negative, are offered to the divine presence. Your prayer, your constant daily prayer, is for self-surrender and ultimately union with your beloved. So that's the goal of the bhakta, this non-dual union with the beloved. It starts off, of course, as a feeling of I and thou, but it matures. So this morning's topic is the master, that is Sri Ramakrishna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agree. Now, I'm going to repeat the caveat that I say pretty much every week now. What you will hear this morning is not meant as personal instruction for you, something that you should do. There's nothing dogmatic about it, nothing, no should or must. This is simply information about how a bhakta will see the non-dual reality as expressed by Sri Ramakrishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's an interesting way of seeing things, and it may therefore be of interest to you. But if it is not, just take from it anything at all, if anything at all, that is of use or practical for you. And if there isn't anything here that is of interest to you because of your temperament and your spiritual practice, well and good, please just listen with generosity. So that's the caveat. So the Master and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agree. They agree about what? Sri Ramakrishna says, the bhakta accepts all the states of consciousness. They take the waking state to be real also. They don't think the world to be illusory, like a dream. They say it constitutes his glory. He is within us, in our hearts. He is within us, in our hearts. Again, he is outside. The most advanced devotees say that he himself, the divine being, has become all this, the 24 cosmic principles, the universe, and all living beings. And that you can find the context for those remarks in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna on page 133. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna says. How is it that Chaitanya agrees? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, chant the name of the Lord and his glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quenched that mighty forest fire raging furiously within. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, chant the name of the Lord and his glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quenched that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. When the reflection in your heart is clear and full, and there is no distraction from worldly lust, you will be in a state of non-dual realization, samadhi. So the quote was from Chaitanya's prayer, "This is my observation. When the reflection in your heart is clear and full, and there is no distraction from worldly lust, you will be in a state of non-dual realization, samadhi." Now that is savikalpa samadhi, the lower samadhi, because it is still an experience, but it is a non-dual experience. You feel the oneness, the unity. So what is meant by non-dual? It is not the one only one, as is often said. It is not the one only one, as is often said, because this actually and already implies counting. Instead, it is the non-dual realization is a deep sense of total unity, total connectedness, a fullness beyond comprehension or expression. Purna is in that chant, Purna Madam. Fullness beyond comprehension or expression. As Jesus put it, the peace that passeth all understanding. In that samadhi, the peace that passeth all understanding. The Christ also says, I am the vine, ye are the branches, and ye have not chosen me, I have chosen you. Christ says, I am the vine, and ye are the branches, a unity. The vine is rooted in that inexpressible one, divine presence that Jesus calls the Father. So vine rooted in that. That is the unmanifest. Jesus is the manifest as the vine, and the disciples are the branches. And he says about that, ye have not chosen me, I have chosen you. This agreement among the greatest of spiritual masters is what we will explore and discuss. From the experience of a bhakti yogi, here is a way to look on what underlies their agreement. This is the way a bhakti yogi, a bhakta, would think about this agreement. And this can be said because this is the experience here. And I know other bhaktas who also feel this. A bhakta knows the Atman, or Brahman, to be the reality within. Yet because the Atman is infinite, changeless, and eternal, that Atman has nothing, wants nothing, does nothing, and knows nothing. Now, we'll explore that further, but the experience is that the Atman, the witness awareness within us, has nothing, wants nothing, does nothing, and knows nothing. It simply witnesses what transpires before it. Having, all of this that transpires before it, the having, wanting, doing, and knowing are aspects of the bhakta's ordinary daily awareness, activities said to be a manifestation of the divine feminine, Shakti, Mother, and her Maya. So what is it that has, wants, knows, and does? It is the bhakta's being in ordinary daily awareness, this seemingly other than the Atman, this witness awareness. Why is that not so? So when Shakti in her Maya makes this awareness real for the bhakta, for you, by creating, she does this. She makes this seem real and separate by creating your body, your ego sense, your sense of being the doer. So first, these are 5 things now that will be enumerated. First, she creates your body. Then, as part of that, your ego sense, your sense of being the doer, your 5 senses, and then the motions of the vital energy, prana, the motions of the vital energy within your body, that's number 4, and number 5. So first the body, second the ego, the sense of being the doer, third the 5 senses, 4 the movement of the vital energy within your body, then 5th, she has as her servants the devas, small g gods who are responsible for the endless creation, preservation, and transformation going on within you and without you. Inside us, outside us, is this constant, this endless change of creation, preservation, and transformation going on. So this is the way this seems to be a separate reality. For more about these 2 states of being, and the last, for more about these 2 states of being, read the last 3 chapters of the Gita. Sri Krishna's explanation is thorough and complete. This is drawn from that and from the experience of bhaktas. Yet when I say 2 states of being, the unmanifest and the manifest, this does not necessarily imply a duality. As Sri Ramakrishna says, water still, water in waves, same water. This is his quote. Water still, water in waves, same water. You divide these 2 by laying what the master calls a stick across the water. He said, the water is still on one side, in waves on the other. We lay a stick across it. The stick is made of those 5 aspects of Mother's Maya mentioned earlier. Mother, Sri Sharda Devi, as Mother, and the Divine Mother in all her aspects, causes you to lay this stick across the water because she actively wants you to experience her world and universe. She actively wants this. This is her Leela. This is her divine play. She wants you to experience it, to know more about her wishes and her intentions. Read the Devi Mahatmyam or Chandi, where it says of the Divine Feminine, she is the all-pervading Devi who constantly presides over the senses of all beings and governs all the elements. She is the all-pervading Devi who constantly presides over the senses of all beings and governs all the elements. All-pervading means omnipresent, the non-dual reality behind the manifest and unmanifest. All-pervading equals omnipresent, the non-dual reality behind the manifest and unmanifest. With all that as background now, let's hear again how the Master, Sri Ramakrishna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu agree. This was the opening statements. Now with all of that referential background, let's hear them again and see if it doesn't make sense, how they're agreeing that there is the bhakta's experience it can be dual, but it also can be, because of this experience, actual experience of unity, it can be non-dual. Sri Ramakrishna says, the bhaktas accept all the states of consciousness. They take the waking state to be real also. They don't think the world and the universe, they don't think the world is illusory like a dream. They say it constitutes his glory. He is within us, in our hearts. Again, he is outside. The most advanced devotees say that he himself has become all this, the 24 cosmic principles, the universe, and all living beings. In other words, a non-dual reality made up of these aspects. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, chant the name of the Lord and his glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quenched that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. That's from his prayer, Chaitanya's prayer. When the reflection in your heart is clear and full, and there is no distraction from worldly lust, you will be in a state of non-dual realization, samadhi. So that's the text. There's a little poem to be read at the end, but I think it's time to open it up now for the conversation part of this. A lot has been said. What, if anything, has this stimulated for you? What, if anything, would you like to comment about this from your own wisdom or experience, or any concern or question that it raises? Anything at all from anyone?
Shankara?
Yes, Lori.
Sorry. Can you explain a little bit more when you said that the Atman knows nothing?
Well, the Atman is Brahman. Brahman, it is not, it doesn't know, it is knowledge itself. This is what the rishis tell us. The Atman, or Brahman, does not exist. It is existence itself. It does not know. It is knowledge itself. And it does not love or experience bliss. It is love or bliss itself. And so there is no action of knowing or doing or having or wanting within Brahman or the Atman. The Atman, however, present within us, does experience what we experience, not because it wants to, simply because it can, because it is there, and thereby validates our experiences. So the Atman does not know, it is knowledge itself. Does that make sense, Lori, or is there anything more?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. All right, anything else from anyone?
Hi, this is Marla.
Yes, please.
I'm wondering if I could read a small poem on this subject.
Well, of course, Marla, go right ahead.
So this is a poem that I wrote in honor of I had a ceremony, a croning ceremony as I entered menopause. And so I wrote a poem for myself in the style of the Welsh poet Taliesin. I don't know if people know about him. But anyway, he's a very mysterious poet of the sort of the King Arthur era. And so I wrote this poem in the style of him.
Please.
I am Taliesin. I am and I have been in many forms, as well as this one. I am the green bough dripping in the rain. I am the eye of the falcon in flight. I am a child's first laugh. I am an ancient hieroglyph on a mossy rock. I am the scent of wood smoke rising like incense. I am a speckled eel swimming upstream in a cold river. I am the spoon in the hand of a woman stirring food for her kin. I am the healing stillness of deepest night. I am the stars in the sky. I am the golden moon, glowing gold at first rising, enchanting the forest and waking the fairy folk. I abide and thread through all things and all life. There is nothing which I am not, and the same is true for you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Please send that. Please email that to Cindy.
Okay.
So that she can post that with the notes for this talk. That's a beautiful poem.
Thank you.
Very well conceived and very well written.
But it ties in precisely with this unity consciousness of being with all things. And
right, exactly. I got it. And it very closely echoes what Krishna says in the Gita. I don't know if you read that passage in the Gita, whereas there is a similar catalog where Krishna says, among the stars of night, I am the moon. Anything else from anyone about this non-duality?
I love that poem, Marla. I put in the chat my email address. You can just send it right to me. And I've become more and more in just recent years, just sort of more down to earth about my spirituality and having Celtic ancestry. I just love that. It's great. Not being someone who really has cared a whole lot about reaching nirvikalpa samadhi, the savikalpa is as far as I have ever thought I would like to go.
Yes. We can't aspire to nirvikalpa.
Right. Well, some people I'm sure do. I'm just not one of them. And I kind of think of the Atman as being sort of the part of myself that doesn't, is like a tree. The difference between a tree and a human being is a tree has no regrets over its past and doesn't fret over its future. And neither does the Atman. It's,
Exactly.
you know, it's the Atman is, I think of it as the quiet, still part of myself that's
Yes.
always there,
Yes.
always aware of everything I'm aware of, but it's not fretting over it or ruminating or worrying. And when I remember that, then I feel more that way, calmer, stiller, quieter.
Thank you. Exactly. And the reason we can't aspire to nirvikalpa samadhi is because there simply is nothing to aspire to. There is no aspirer there. So we can prepare ourselves for the highest samadhi, but we can't really aspire to it, Patanjali says. And the rishis say that in all creation, human beings are the only entity that is aware of being conscious. Others, as you just said, trees, they are conscious, but they have no self-reflective capability of being aware of being conscious. They don't think about their past or fret about their futures. Very well said. Anything else from anyone?
Brother Shankara,
Yes, dear.
the thought just came to me now is that, like Sri Ramakrishna said, we have come here to eat the mangoes, don't count the mangoes.
Yes.
Yes, some mangoes may be sour, some sweeter than the others, but everything is ultimately, directed by the higher power or whatever. Even the striving to, the seeking is driven by that Atman or Brahman, because the senses are just gathering the information and communicating with the external. So rather than struggle and why am I struggling, even that I try to look on it as, okay, this is also being driven by the inner core, the Atman, or powered by it at least.
Well, it is because it is there that you have the desire to realize it. Yes. And it represents that freedom and happiness. Those are its inherent, if you can say, attributes. It is as the expression of itself within time, space, and causation, saguna atman. It has all these divine attributes of love, mercy, happiness, so on. But those things are it. When I say it has them, doesn't have them like a possession. It simply expresses them because it is the nature of the divine. And it isn't even a question of it knowing it. Sri Ramakrishna often said that people would tell him what a great wonder and what a great joy and inspiration he was. And he says, well, you say these things, I know nothing about it. It wasn't as if he was doing it. It simply was his nature. Anything else? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all of you who've spoken. Anyone else? Anything?
Well, I'll blab on.
Okay.
I just more about my we have these words for everything, and sometimes, well, a lot of times I think that we have too many words.
Mhm.
Atman, Brahman, what's what, which is which, who's, and again, it's just for me, not what I think about it or which words I use, but the feeling that, oh yeah, there it is. I think that the consciousness of non-human beings, trees, cats, turkeys, insects is probably, or this is my sense, probably more of what we think of as feeling
Mhm.
than thinking, because they are in the present moment and they do have sense ability.
And we're told by those who say they know that they don't think, they simply project images. They don't think in the way we ratiocinate.
With language, right?
Right.
It's with images. But reaching that stillness or that quietness. I mean, if I think about, deep space or, the stars in the sky at night, I think of that as being still and quiet and removed from the thoughts running around in my head. Because they're running around in my head. They're not running around out there
Nope.
at all, which
Nope.
is kind of funny.
Nope, that's exactly right. They just run around in our heads
Yeah,
until we verbalize them to someone else.
yeah.
Then
Or write them out into a poem or whatever,
right.
song. Yeah, yeah. Tom looks like he's going to say something. Say something, Tom.
I was just pressing the unmute button. Well, I'm in agreement about, or that what you said about language stimulates something with me that I also I don't know anything about a lot of these big questions that, and I don't aspire to any particular state of samadhi or nirvana or anything. I just want to be happy. And I am a lot of the time. I feel happy, content, grateful. I feel flooded with love and beauty sometimes. That's it. That's what I want. I'm satisfied. I'm grateful. I don't have any desire for any more. In fact, a desire for any more would interfere with the happiness and contentment and gratitude of this moment. At this particular moment, I feel great. Yesterday, I felt terrible. I'll probably feel terrible again at some time in the future. But I kind of think everything I ever wanted, enlightenment or whatever, it's right here, right now, some of the time. And
Yes, exactly, Tom.
I just, the more I can just open to it and surrender to it, the happier I can be. But sometimes I'm just miserable. I don't know if it's bad chemicals in my brain or what, but anyway, today I have everything I ever wanted. At this moment, I have everything I ever wanted. I feel happy, joyous, and free. Thank you.
Well, good and wonderful and auspicious for you, and thank you for sharing that with us. It makes us all feel better. Thank you, Tom. Anything else from anyone?
I have a question.
Amadat's here.
Yeah, well, first of all, Marla said she had a question, then Amadas.
Okay, I can wait. I mean, my question is about the what you said, chant the name of the Lord unceasingly and wipe clean the mirror of the heart. Each of those parts is so evocative and
Yes.
has much depth to it. I guess I'm most curious about the mirror of the heart.
Yes. The mirror of the heart, we are told by those who see deeply into us, and this includes Jill Bolte Taylor, is clouded and distracted by, its surface is clouded by and fragmented by the distractions of our left mind, the constant distractions. The left mind is where this all of this resides, that causes us to want to have, that wants us to experience, that thinks it knows, and thinks it's doing. So when all of that is stilled by the action of the power of the divine name, that's what else he says later in the prayer. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. So when you're chanting the name, it doesn't matter which name he says, they all have the full power of the divine presence to wipe the mirror of the heart clean. Why? How? By stilling or quenching that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, that is creating all the smoke and cloudiness of the mirror. And then once that is actually begun to be quenched, there's no more smoke, then slowly and slowly, the mirror of the mantra, the chanting of the name, wipes the mirror clean. This was told to me by Swami Sridharananda in very graphic terms, that the mantra is like or the name of the Lord is like a soft white cotton glove, slowly and slowly wiping the mirror's surface clean, until you see this full and complete reflection of the divine presence within that mirror, and that is Savikalpa Samadhi. And then you not only appreciate what you are experiencing reflected in the mirror of your heart, but you, as Swami Sridharananda says, you also see how beautiful the frame is. The frame is being your human presence, your human body, which is exactly what Thomas Merton said when he had that experience at 4th and Walnut in Louisville, where he saw all human beings as shining like the sun, and said what a glory it is to be a human being. So thank you, Marla, for that. And now Amadas.
The conversation today is exactly why I participate with this Sangha. I feel like I'm in a store of precious stones. So much that's been offered in this conversation makes me realize that my work is simply removing my hands from my eyes and being with the magnificence of creation. And each time I hear, like what you just said about Jill Bolte Taylor and the rest of them, it's not just the left hemisphere, it's the left side of the amygdala, which is where trauma lives.
Yes.
And it's easier for me to recognize when my decisions are being driven by previous traumas.
Yes.
And that's a part of me prying my fingers away from my eyes.
Yes.
And it's so magnificent. I'm just out of words. I feel like I'm in the presence of that which I seek right now. So thank you all for that.
I think that's what we can say is the truth for all of us, Amadas. We are in the presence of that which we seek, because it's what underlies all of these seeming separate entities represented by these Zoom screens. Underneath that is the presence of this unity, the undivided, that consciousness that is primary and is not plural. So yes, we are in the presence of that which we seek. And it is very uplifting and gratifying. It is what is meant by the wonder and the glory of holy company. So thank you, Amadas. And as has been remarked, words, words, words. Yes, but until we become telepathic again, which we're told we will become in the golden age, until we become telepathic again and can communicate profoundly in that way, that's what we have. So we do the best we can. And I have to say that sometimes it gets very fine indeed, like Marla's poem, which I heartily request. I'll read this poem, and then I'd like her to read it again, because there's time, and then for anyone who wants to find it, it will be on the web. It'll be on the website, on the YouTube channel, in our archives, and on the YouTube channel. Marla's poem will be there. So before we go on to that, is there anything else from anyone? This is exactly what we're here for, this sharing.
Shankara,
Yes, dear.
me again. Can you talk some more about what you were saying about the devas?
Yes, the devas are, Swami Prabhavananda, is in a footnote to the Gita, said that these are part of the mythology of Sanatana Dharma, commonly called Hinduism. Now, by mythology, he means, are they real in the sense of a glass of water is real? Well, is it a way of talking about how Mother gets things done? Now, the three principal devas are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. These are not gods with a capital G. These are gods with a small g. These are her mind-born sons, it says in the Vedas, that Brahma, Vishnu, Brahma the creator, Vishnu the sustainer, provider and protector, and Shiva the transformer are her way of getting things done, creation, sustaining and preserving and transforming. Now, according to the Chandi, the Devi Mahatmyam, these 700 verses in praise of the Divine Mother, there are hosts of devas, that each activity, most particularly as far as we're concerned, each organ in our body, each activity of our body is overseen by and energized by the energy. These vital motions of the energy in our body are channeled properly and used by these devas to create our homeostasis as a living being. So these are the devas, and the trees have a deva. It may be that every grove of trees has a deva, which is seen as the Divine Mother, the mother tree of a grove of trees. The foresters have found that this is a truth, that among a grove of trees, there will be a mother tree that is directing the creating, sustaining, and transforming aspects within that grove of trees. So there's a lot about the devas in the Devi Mahatmyam, and also you'll find, as I said, Krishna deals with this in the last 3 chapters of the Gita very thoroughly and fully. Thank you, Lori, for the question.
Thank you.
Mhm. Anything else from anyone? All right, I'm going to read a poem that is meant to celebrate us all and celebrate what it is that we're doing. It's called Flower Offerings. Beloved Father, Mother, a flower at your feet for each one who comes to your open door. A flower for each one who stands by your open door and says, come to me, offering to break this world's chain that binds us down to ignorance, suffering, and death. A flower for each brave soul who takes the shining path that you have struck through this your jungle world. Om, Amen. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, 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 and beneficence be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. And now I would like Marla to read her poem again and give us a little context again for why the poem was written.
Okay. Yeah, so I was preparing for a ritual ceremony from the passage to menopause. And so I really wanted to mark that occasion. I had a whole ceremony done, and I felt it very important to bring forth a creative aspect of myself into the ceremony. And so I wrote the poem and I read it, and it's in the style of the poet Taliesin, who was a Welsh bard and very much a part of Druidry, and in the style of poetry which he wrote. And so it's the I am is his style.
Okay.
Okay, so I am Taliesin. I am and have been in many forms, as well as this one. I am the green bough dripping in the rain. I am the eye of a falcon in flight. I am a child's first laugh. I am an ancient hieroglyph on a mossy rock. I am the scent of wood smoke rising like incense. I am a speckled eel swimming upstream in cold water. I am the spoon in the hand of a woman stirring food for her kin. I am the healing stillness of deepest night. I am the stars in the sky. I am the golden moon, glowing gold at first rising, enchanting the forest and waking the fairy folk. I abide and thread through all things and all life. There is nothing which I am not. And the same is true for you.
Very beautifully conceived and very beautifully realized, dear. And I do recognize that style now that you mention it. It's even mentioned by John O'Donohue in one of his books, which I haven't read the book, but Jerry Brunner read passages to me. John O'Donohue writes on Celtic wisdom. So anything else at all from anyone?
I would like to say two things. One is kind of a response to the idea of menopause. I don't know why they call it menopause. It should be menostop. It does not pause.
And why are men part of it? It's woman.
woman begin. And I've been writing and thinking about I'm turning 65 in May, and I am loving being older because, you hear the expression, to be young again. I'm like, what a horror. No, because when you get to this age, you are free of the burden of expectations of the world, your family, society. You got to make money, you got to get a job, you got to have family, you have to be this. And it's like, I feel freer than I've ever felt in my life. And I don't care about the aches and pains and stuff. There's always a price to pay for everything. And I'm like, I have been waiting all my life for this period of my life. So yes, I'm really glad you marked that transition officially and formally. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I think you called it a croning ceremony. What a beautiful term. The act of becoming a crone, the older woman, the wise woman, the woman whose hair is gray and whose back may be a little bent. But as Cindy said, she overflows with wisdom. And this is such a tradition of this all over the world. Jerry Brunner sent me the story of an Irish, it's an Irish storyteller telling the story of a banshee. And the wise woman in the story is the wife of the, within the story, it's the wife in the family. She's the one who knows how to be and how to deal with life and the banshee. So it's a beautiful thing. Anything at all else from anyone?
Shankara, I'm reminded of the grandmother lodge of the Iroquois,
Yes.
who, when the men wanted to go to war, they had to get the approval of the grandmothers. Because by the time you're a grandmother in a hunting and gathering society, you've seen a lot of death.
Yeah.
And it made everybody better that the men had to make a strong case for going to war and include the grandmothers. The other thing I'd like to offer is that as the poem was being read the second time, and I hesitate to offer this because it feels like an alteration of it, but I listened to it, the Ides as EYE. And I hope Brahma's entertaining himself by watching me do my crazy.
Well,
I hope it feeds his sense of humor. And yeah,
I think what you just said to us, Amadas, is that you see with a sense of humor the crazies that you do. Yes, of course, it is your divine presence that will see it, and see it with love and forgiveness and humor. Yes, exactly.
Right. It seems to be the easiest way to let it go.
Precisely. Let it go with a laugh.
Thank you for the poem. Yes.
We're all tiny windows. We're all these tiny windows, and behind our tiny window is the Atman, or the divine consciousness, looking out onto creation and through all these little tiny windows, and each window is different in how it perceives.
Unique, yes. Exactly.
But we're all in the same.
Yep. Anything else from anyone about anything at all?
Brother Shankara?
Yes, dear.
Trying to paraphrase again one of the wonderful talks of Alan Watts, and I hadn't prepared on saying, so I don't know if I'm like summarizing perfectly, but he says, like, suppose I am God, or any one of us is God, and sitting in front of this like a console, and it has all these buttons on it.
Yes.
Mountains, valleys, birds, animals, and so you press each one and you enjoy that, and then suddenly you see there's a button called surprise, and you press that, and voila, we are here, the humans are here. And also one other thing that struck me was he said, God has given us free will because he likes surprises.
Yes, Sri Ramakrishna's, there were two things that Sri Ramakrishna could not stand. Loud, clattery noises and monotony. He liked surprises. Yes, indeed. And was very humorous in their presence. So thank you, Swayam, for sharing that. Love, sweet love, it's the only thing there's just too little of. Of hills and valleys, we have enough. Hills and valleys, we have enough to climb. So, I forget the songwriter's name. Lovely song. Anything else from anyone? All right. Well, all of the notes for today's, if there's anything that you wanted to look further into, the notes for today's talk will be posted with the recording on the YouTube channel and on our archives. And along with that, of course, will be Marla's poem, her wonderful poem. We'll close with our usual closing prayer. Let there be peace in outer space. Let there be peace in the sky, on the earth, and in the waters. Let there be peace in the herbs, the plants, and the trees. May the gods be peaceful. May the whole universe be pervaded by peace. Let that infinite universal peace prevail throughout my being. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace and beneficence be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. And then Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai, Durga, Durga, Durga. May we be safe. May we be healthy. May we be cheerful. May we have peace of mind. And may we be always and know we are always in the loving and protective embrace of the Divine Being as our Mother and Father. So again, thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being who you are. Thanks for being who you are as these apparently separate entities. And of course, immense and unending gratitude for what we are beneath. That one being, that one consciousness, many awarenesses, one consciousness, unbroken, invulnerable, eternal, and benign. Jai, 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 Sri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. All right, any final thought from anyone? Until next
So
time,
much.
thank you, dears.
Thank you.
Alleluia. And away we go.